Rest.
Dear friends, in this session, we'll be discussing on commercial banks and how do we get institutional assistance from commercial banks for our small scale industries. Let's understand what the meaning of commercial banks. Commercial banks are the most important components of the whole banking system. A commercial bank is a profit-based financial institution that grants loan, accepts deposit, and offers other financial services such as overdraft facilities and electronic transfer of funds. According to Kalpastan, commercial banks are the institutions that make short-term banks to business and in the process create money. In other words, commercial banks are financial institutions that accept demand deposits from the general public, transfer the funds from the bank to another, and earn the profit. Commercial banks are of three types, such as public sector banks, private banks, and the foreign banks. The banks which you see, such as State Bank of India, which is a nationalized bank, Canara Bank, Vijay Bank, all those are public sector banks. Private banks are those banks which are handled by private institutions, private companies. Okay, foreign banks, which has come from some other countries like HSBC, Hong Kong and Chennai Bank of HSBC is a bank from Hong Kong. So there is a foreign bank. You see the many private banks in our country as well, such as HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank are the examples of private banks. Let's understand the functions of commercial banks. As you people know, in our normal life, we have observed that what the bank does, right? They have the two major functions that are segregated as primary functions and the secondary functions. Primary functions are accepting the deposits and the lending loans. Banks usually accept the deposit from the public and then lends the loans from the public or institutions. Next, secondary functions includes agency functions such as collecting checks, collecting income, paying expenses, etc. General utility functions such as providing locker facilities, issuing traveler's check, dealing in foreign exchange, transferring funds, etc. Other functions includes creating money and electronic banking, etc. Let's understand what are the types of credit offered by commercial banks. Commercial banks usually offers bank loan, cash credits, bank overdraft, discounting of bills for retail customers as well as institutional customers. You as an entrepreneur can individually, as a retail customer, can avail all these types of credit offered by the bank, or you can avail in name of your institute or business as well. And let's know what are the types of credit offered by the banks. First one is that bank loan. As you all know that bank loan is a famous word which we hear in our day-to-day life. Bank loan may be defined as the amount of money granted by the bank at a specified rate of interest for a fixed period of time. The commercial bank needs to follow certain guidelines to extend bank loans to a client. By having some certain procedure to follow to apply for a commercial bank loan, and the bank will follow the guidelines as per the Reserve Bank of India and approve the loan. If you are eligible, will be provided with a expected loan with a specific rate of interest for a specified period of time. Next, cash credit. Cash credit can be defined as an arrangement made by the bank for the clients to withdraw cash exceeding their account limit. The cash credit facility is generally sanctioned for 1 year, but it may extend up to 3 years in some cases. In case of special request by the client, the time limit can be further extended by the bank. The extension of the allotted time depends on the consent of the bank and past performance of the client. The rate of interest charged by the bank on cash credit depends on the time duration for the cash has been withdrawn and the amount of cash. Next, bank overdraft. Bank overdraft is the quickest means of the short-term financing provided by bank. It is a facility in which the bank allows the current account holders to overdraw their current accounts by a specified limit. The clients generally avail the bank overdraft facility to meet urgent and emergency requirements. Bank overdraft is the most popular form of borrowing and do not require any return formalities. The bank charges very low rate of interest on bank overdraft up to a certain time. Next, discounting of bills. Discounting of bill is a process of settling the bill of exchange by the bank at a value less than the face value before maturity rate. According to Section 126 of Negotiable Instruments, a bill of exchange is an unconditional order in writing addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay on demand or at a fixed or determinable future time a sum certain in money to order or a bearer. Example of bill of exchange is check, demand draft. All these are the negotiable instruments. The facility of discounting of bill is used by the organizations to meet their immediate need of cash for settling down current liabilities. Financial assistance from commercial banks. Government of India recognized need for a focused credit policies for small scale industries for its promotions. It deals with following components: priority sector lending, institutional arrangements. Priority sector lending. Credit to small scale sector ensured as part of priority sector lending by banks. It is required to compulsory ensure defined percentage such as it's approximately 40% of overall lending as classified by the government. It includes agriculture, small scale industries and exports, etc. Institutional arrangement. Small Industries Development Bank of India, which is known as SIDBI, was set up as Apex Refinance Bank. Term loans are provided by small financial corporations and scheduled banks. Credit lending in direct, indirect forms is also undertaken by NABARD and NSIC, etc. Some of the credit needs of small-scale industries due to liberalization of Indian economy are earmarking of credit for tiny sector within overall lending to small industries, opening of specialized SSI bank branches, establishment of National Equity Fund for Venture Capital Support, Technology Development and Modernization Fund through SIDBI, enhancement of turnover limit for assessing aggregate working capital requirement, enhancement of limit of composite loan to rupees 10 lakh, no collateral security for loans up to rupees 5 lakh. The comprehensive policy package on this credit needs are launch of credit guarantee scheme to cover loans up to rupees 25 lakh. Launch of credit linked capital subsidy scheme to provide for subsidies against loans taken for technology upgradation. Further enhancement of ceiling composite loan limit to rupees 25 lakhs, enhancement of project cost limits under National Equity Fund to rupees 50 lakh. Major commercial banks and its assistance of small-scale industries. There are two major commercial banks we have taken here as an example. One is that State Bank of India, other one is Canara Bank. Let's discuss about how State Bank of India is assisting, giving a financial support to the small-scale industries. State Bank of India is providing commercial loans for General purpose term loan. It grants loan for small-scale industries to meet commercial purposes like high-cost debt, research and development, net worth, and funding business. The term loan is for normally 3 years, and pricing is tuned to suit the risk of borrower. Repayment is strictly done in monthly or quarterly installments. Liberalize credit to small-scale industries. SBI extends production linked credit facilities for small-scale industries, ancillary cotton industries with certain terms and conditions. Price of loan is based on credit assessments, rates, etc. Composite loans sanctioned up to ₹25 lakh, combining loan and working capital. Entrepreneur scheme. SBI grants the financial assistance to technically qualified, trained, and experienced entrepreneurs. Loans are extended to technocrats under liberalized schemes. It is applicable to technically qualified persons, craftsmen, industrial management, etc. Bank provides the term loans, working capital, and equity fund scheme. Equity fund scheme, SBI grants financial assistance to entrepreneurs who are not able to meet the share of equity, interest-free loans repayable over a long period. Equity fund assistance can be normally repaid over 5 to 7 years after moratorium period. Stree Shakti package. It is a unique scheme run by SBI to support women entrepreneurs by providing certain concessions. It should have more than 50% of its share capital owned by women to qualify for the scheme. Export finance schemes by SBI. Pre-shipment finance, which includes packing credit, clean packing credit, and pre-shipment credit in foreign currency. Post-shipment finance, which includes FDB, FBE, and BRD. Foreign bank guarantee include deferred payment, guarantees in foreign currency for import capital goods, foreign letter of credit, both the import of raw material, capital goods, etc. Major commercial banks and its assistants will understand how Canara Bank is assisting small-scale industries. The assistance of Canara Bank to the SSI sector is in 3 forms. First one is that composite loan scheme. A simplified scheme devised on the single window concept of RBI to suit tiny and small scale industrial sectors. It is to provide credit to entrepreneurs for acquiring equipments, construction of worksheds, and to meet working capital. It is provided to artisans, village and cottage industries engaged in manufacturing, processing, etc., not exceeding ₹25 lakhs. Margin money scheme. This is a novel scheme for setting up an industry in rural area focusing on employment opportunities. Example, our Pepsi Cola, which has been established near Bidadi. Individual societies, trust, help, self-help groups, NGOs, etc., owned by central state government are eligible for this scheme. Partnership and private limited are not eligible for this scheme. Mahila Udyam Nidhi scheme. Equity type soft loan assistance from SIDBI for women entrepreneurs for setting up industrial units in small scale and tiny sector and other service activities. I hope that you have understood how the commercial banks are assisting the small scale industries and what are all type of loans you can avail from commercial banks if you're individual or you want to start a business. Thank you.